Alright everyone, welcome back to a brand new video today. Like I said yesterday, we're going to be covering each Bioshock game over the weekend, anticipating a possible announcement of the fourth. I thought we'd cover each one, so that's 1, 2 and Infinite. And just what makes these games good, the story, briefly, the gameplay, and all that good stuff. So, if you're a fan of Bioshock, or if your opinion's different to mine by the end, do let me know in the comments. And if you want to see more Bioshock videos in the future, because I do plan doing a few more things with Bioshock in the future, whether there's an announcement of the new game or not, then be sure to subscribe to the notifications for that. And without further ado, let's jump into the story, the gameplay, and what makes Bioshock a damn good game. So, to get things off, you play as a character called Jack, who is on a plane. Suddenly, the plane crashes over a kind of lighthouse-looking building. That lighthouse then leads you to the entrance of an underwater city called Rapture, built by Andrew Ryan. It's like a utopia underwater, it's beautiful, and you get down there, and as soon as you get down there, you realise that something isn't actually right. There are people going crazy and attacking each other, and there's no one around apart from a voice over the radio, which I do not remember the name of for the life of me. I'm sure someone could tell me, or I'm sure it will come up soon. But he guides you to safety and explains kind of what's going on. But he's a kind of shady dude, and that is all explained later on, because I do remember what happens with him. I just don't remember his name. But the story, obviously, there is a substance that Andrew Ryan found under there called Adam. Adam is something that people want. Adam makes people turn into superhumans, basically, and people wanted that shit. So people stole it, took it, killed people for it, and the city went to shit, basically. And you arrive at the perfect time for everything just to be crazy. Throughout the game, you come across the Little Sisters and the Big Daddies, and Little Sisters are obviously carriers of that stuff, and you either have the option to save them, or harvest them from their resources, which upgrade your character, and grant you certain abilities. There are things in the game. I don't think they're called Vigors in this one, I think that's Infinite. I think they're called Plasmids, something like that in this game. Their implants give you superpowers. Essentially, there's one that electrifies water nearby, there's one that you can shoot fireballs out of your hands. I believe there's one unless you possess things, so that might be in the later game, I'm not too sure. But there's plenty of options when it comes to what abilities you can use throughout the game, and to get access to those Little Sisters, to drain them of their materials or not, you have to fight a Big Daddy, and those things, to protect those things, they're tough. They're hard. You need the ammo, you need the skill to take them down. It has to be worth it, obviously. Throughout the game, you are kind of encouraged to fight them just to get access to the Little Sisters, and then that is up to you what you do with the Little Sisters. I believe there is slightly different rewards depending on which one option you choose to do, whether that's harvest or rescue, but of course it's up to you how you want to play the game, it doesn't matter. The story takes a lot of twists and turns throughout the game. The big reveal at the end is definitely an interesting one, and it leads to a good end of the game. And then, obviously, in the sequel, you play as a different character. You play as actually one of the Big Daddies himself, and you kind of learn about what happened down there more, and what happened to this character specifically. And it's a lot of fun. The story is wacky, and it's dark, and the twists are great. The game isn't really a horror game, to quote people saying horror, but it's definitely not a not horror game. I don't know what I'm going with that. What I'm saying is it's creepy, the atmosphere is creepy. It's primarily combat, so there's not really any jump scares or anything like that, unless it's accidentally happening to you, but it's just atmospheric. I mean, underwater for me is already terrifying, because for me personally, I don't like deep water in real life, but the atmosphere itself is already kind of like, oof, for me. But yeah, that was a brief rundown of what the events of the game, and that's a very, very simplistic version of events, but you're about to see some gameplay in the background, so we're going to talk about gameplay now and things that I love about the gameplay, and then we're going to watch some closing thoughts about everything that's going on, so let's do this. Okay, so in terms of gameplay, obviously this game is a combat driven game, and there's plenty of ways to go about that combat. You obviously have the plasma upgrades, which you can use in tandem with weapons. For example, you can, very early on in the game, it's kind of like a tutorial part of the game, but it does definitely come in handy to use later on. Let's do enemies stood in some water. And by this point you have the lightning plasmid. You can shock the wall, which stuns them all, and just hit them in the head with a wrench, and they'll go down immediately. You can combine these abilities with different weapons in the game to kind of suit your playstyle. There is an optional stealth in this game. You don't have to go guns blazing if you don't want to. The stealth in this game is It's one of those games where, yes, stealth is definitely an option, but you want to be shooting. There's not much ammo around when you find the guns initially, but you can loot and buy ammo and weapons from vendors, which helps a lot in the long run. There's a lot of different weapon options. You can have one weapon at a time, one plasma gun at a time, so you can kind of rotate between combinations. You can go on one that best suits your style. Atlas, that's the guy's name. Atlas is the guy I can't remember the name of. I prefer a game with a G. I don't know why. But gameplay wise, the game is super cool. A lot of the enemies you fight are kind of close range, sprinty boys, and it makes for some pretty good set pieces, especially with some of the guns you can get, like the shotgun. Again, this is my personal favourite. I love shotguns in games like this, they're super satisfying. Then there's obviously a pistol, an assault rifle, a few more. Again, in combination with the plasmids, very useful, very cool, and it's just, the gameplay is fun, man, and it's especially fun when you have to fight the bosses. There's certain bosses in the arenas, there's a lot of different bosses actually, and you can combine so many different things to fight the bosses. There's even a hacking system in this game where you can hack turrets and stuff like that to help you and just turn the tides on the enemy. And there's a few minor RPG elements in this game. Obviously, character upgrades, weapon upgrades, and stuff like that. They're not massive, especially compared to other RPGs and stuff like that, but they're definitely there, and they definitely do make a difference between different playthroughs. This game features 4 difficulties: easy, normal, hard, and survivor. Survivor is difficult, I've heard. There is an achievement to be the game of survivor, and apparently it's not easy, but maybe I'm up for the challenge at some point soon. Like I said, I'm going to be making more Bioshock content after the initial kind of rundown of the games themselves, but that'll come later, because I'm still got cool things on the table for other games after these videos are up. But in terms of the gameplay in this game, I think it's amazing. Like, I really do. This is the first initial ability you get, the electric hand thing. The gameplay should be there any minute. And again, there's plenty of these. They add more in the DLC, they add more in the second game, and then they change it up slowly in Infinite. Infinite's an interesting video coming soon, because people don't really like Infinite, where I personally did quite enjoy it. It's obviously nothing compared to the first 2, but the game itself is still, in my opinion, super duper fun, and I had a blast playing through it, honestly. But kind of recap on everything that's been said today. The story is incredible, the twist is incredible, and obviously no spoilers here. If you haven't played Bioshock already, do so. That was a voice crack. Do so. I believe again it's on Xbox through Game Pass or back and pat. PlayStation got the collection a few months ago on PS Plus, so if you did have PS Plus at the time, you have all the games for free. That is 1, 2, and Infinite, I believe, with all the DLC as well. That's a good deal. And then, of course, PC, everything's on Steam, so you can just pick it up on Steam. But I'd imagine most of you, if you're watching this video, have already played the game and are anticipating an announcement of the next one. But that should be hopefully soon. If not at E3, then possibly Gamescom. As I made the video a couple days ago, there is a small amount of details about the game. All we know is that it's coming, and the rest is just rumours, so could be anything. And what a way to end the video with the content in the background. There's the introduction of the little sisters and the big daddies. They are staple to the series. First 2 games, there is a potential reference to them in Bioshock Infinite. Obviously, story purposes, there is kind of a big deal with them, but gameplay wise, it could be them, but I'm not too sure. The first 2 games just have more going on in terms of player experience, but Bioshock Infinite is still a fun game to play, and I personally did enjoy it, so there'll be stuff coming from Infinite as well as the first 2 games. So I look forward to that. Again, if your opinion is different to me, if you want to add more to what I've said, or if I'm wrong about everything I've just said, do let me know in the comments either way, because honestly, the feedback, whether it's good, bad, or not, I reply to everything I see, so it doesn't bother me. I'm just talking about games I enjoy on the internet, to be honest, I'm playing games I enjoy on the internet, that's all it is. But again, thank you all for coming by. Bioshock 2 tomorrow, as best I can, and then Infinite on the Monday, and then like I said, going into Tuesday, we'll have the Dead by Daylight and Resident Evil crossover, which I'll be making a bunch of videos for and then obviously between uploads, streams of all types of different things in the kind of survival horror action type genre. But of course, any extra uploads in terms of anything that comes from E3 over the weekend, which I'm really looking forward to. Anything that's interesting to me that gets announced, I will be uploading videos talking about. I already did one already with Evil Dead yesterday, so check that one out. Evil Dead looks great. And I'll see you all in the next video.